Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into an AI tool that is literally changing the game for how we do research. We are talking about the last30days-skill, an AI agent skill built specifically for Claude, Code, and OpenClaw. If you've ever felt completely buried by the sheer noise online, trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this one. I mean, just think about your workflow right now. You've got a Reddit tab open, hunting for honest takes, then you're bouncing over to Hacker News for the technical debates, scrolling X for breaking news, maybe checking a YouTube walkthrough. It takes hours, and honestly, it's completely exhausting. Well, that's exactly the headache this tool fixes. So here's what we're going through today. First, the research paralysis problem. Then, why we're searching people instead of editors. Next, how the engine actually works. After that, the killer use cases. And finally, setup, trade-offs, and our verdict. Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1, the research paralysis problem. Think about what manual research actually costs you. You're easily burning 5 to 10 hours jumping between platforms just to get a real read on a new developer tool or trend. The last30days-skill takes that exact same process and condenses it into an automated 2 to 8 minute superpower. It hits over 10 platforms at once, grabs engagement metrics, and hands you a grounded summary with real citations. It is pretty much the ultimate cure for decision paralysis. Moving right along to Section 2, searching people, not editors. To really grasp how much developers are loving this, just look at the raw numbers. When this dropped, it didn't just fly under the radar, it shot straight to #1 on GitHub Trending, racking up 9,540 stars. Over 2,600 of those poured in during a single day back in March 2026. People instantly recognized the genius of its core philosophy, and that philosophy is all about searching what real people are actually upvoting, sharing, and placing bets on. A Reddit thread with top comments or Polymarket odds backed by hard cash. That gives you a wildly stronger signal than some sanitized corporate press release or an SEO-stuffed blog post. It aggregates the unfiltered takes from Reddit, the breaking expert threads on X, the technical consensus from Hacker News, and the insider confidence from Polymarket. Right, let's get into Section 3, how the engine works. So the magic here is really in its multi-phase pipeline. It doesn't just blindly search keywords. In Phase 1, it does smart pre-research, like actually figuring out the right subreddits and tracking down the founder's X handles before it pulls a single piece of data. Then, it uses multi-signal synthesis to score text similarity and engagement. Finally, it wraps it all up into a grounded, print-friendly HTML brief packed with actual citations. What this means is that you get the genuine voice of the community. The engine literally has a built-in judge that specifically scores results for wit and virality, bringing you the actual best takes and real developer consensus. Like grabbing insights about OpenClaw API bans straight from a Reddit thread with hundreds of upvotes instead of feeding you stale corporate PR. It brings the actual pulse of the conversation straight to you. Let's move to Section 4, the killer use cases. The comparative mode alone is an absolute game changer. You ask it to compare two tools, and it fires off parallel research passes to hand you a purely data-driven verdict. It pulls real community sentiment, so you instantly see that Cursor sits at 78% positive for fast daily coding, while Windsurf is at 65% but shines for architecture planning. It totally eliminates the guesswork. But it goes way beyond just comparing dev tools. Some entrepreneurs are basically running a market research product factory with this. They're automating the entire discovery to prototype pipeline. They mine Reddit and X for real, visceral user pain points, and then they literally just have OpenClaw build the MVP based on that raw, unfiltered complaint data. It heavily streamlines the whole startup process. Because it relies on cross-source cluster merging, you can track super specific entities without getting bogged down by the same repeated story. You can track exactly how people are reacting to a new Kanye West album across TikTok and YouTube, or analyze Polymarket odds to predict Anthropic's IPO timing. You can even use person mode to monitor developer Peter Steinbrecker's PR velocity and merge rates over on GitHub. The flexibility is wild. Finally, Section 5, setup, trade-offs, and verdict. The setup is brilliantly flexible. You can install it from the Claude Code plugin marketplace in a snap. If you hate messing with API keys, no problem. Just run web-only mode for zero configuration. But when you need the heavy-duty stuff, you can bump up to partial mode with just one key, or go full mode to leverage X cookies and unlock deep social metrics across the board. It's an incredibly low barrier to entry, but the ceiling for power users is massive. Now, obviously, we have to talk trade-offs. This tool heavily prioritizes depth over speed. execution is going to take around 2 to 8 minutes, which, yeah, is slower than firing off an instant query to ChatGPT. But honestly, waiting a couple of minutes for a deeply researched multi-platform cited synthesis is a huge upgrade over spending over 300 minutes manually clicking through tabs.
So what does this all mean for us? It means the era of fragmented manual research is essentially over. If you want recent, community-validated intelligence from the last 30 days, this is your engine. Go install the skill, run your first comparative query, and you'll see instantly why your workflow is never going to be the same. Are you ready to stop reading SEO spam and finally hear the community's true validated voice?